Hi guys, I'm obviously doing my video this week. I am trying the new thing that we talked about for those of you who actually who saw the video and who put some input in. So every few videos I'm going to try to do something interesting, at least to keep it interesting, keep you guys with something to watch. So I'm not just like talking and talking and talking, and I know eventually I probably get boring. So, I am about to put together a very badly edited video. I baked some pies, and at the very least, you can see exactly how to bake a pie. I do want to let you know ahead of time, and I did say it in the video, but it's later on. So if you guys decide you want to bake a pie and you're baking along with my video, the oven temperature is 400 degrees, not 375. For some reason, my brain went cobbler, and I said the wrong temperature, and I realized my mistake before I put the pies in. So I just want to let you know ahead of time that it is 400 degrees, or you're not going to have the proper pie. Other than that, I just wanted to share a little something. So the reason I started baking pies in particular, specifically, is because growing up, no matter what the problems me and my mom had, on holidays, she would always bake the best pies. And I figured out on my own that she made her filling with minute tapioca instead of like cornstarch or flour, and it changes the entire way the pie tastes. The inside of it is just 1,000 times better. It doesn't have that weird chalky texture. It's so much better. And so I vowed I was going to teach myself how to make pies like that, and then one day I was going to do better than her. No, of course, at first it was I'm looking up to my mom and I want to bake pies like her, and then we started fighting and slightly resenting each other along the way, and then it was like I'm going to beat her at her pie game. Oh yes, I am. I know it's a petty thing, but I still feel like I'm the victor in this. So if you guys have a chance to actually try this out, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. I have been told I make the best pies, literally the best. So we'll see. I mean, I add my own stuff to it. I've perfected the recipe and made it my own over the years, and I really think that after a lot of trial and error and a lot of bad pies, that I have the perfect one now. So I'm going to string all these little short videos together, and the reason is because I was kind of doing it myself. Cash wasn't home, or he could have held the camera for me, but I didn't have any hands to hold the camera as well, so I had to like show you what I was doing and then do it and then show you what I did. So hopefully you could still see kind of what's going on. I did explain everything as I went, and so please tell me what you guys think, and I will see you on the flip side. Okay, so I look like total ass, but I challenge you to find someone except for Donna Reed. If you're not as old as me, then you won't get that. If you are, then you will. But I challenge you to find anyone that actually does look good while baking, because everybody would rather be comfortable and just get it done. So what I'm going to do, even though it's probably going to be weird, choppy editing, is I am going to film this in sections, because I don't really think you need to see me peeling 12 apples and pears. It just takes a long time. So I'm going to do that first. And let's see here. I will try to figure out how to flip the camera while we're rolling, which I actually don't think I can do, which is freaking weird also. But so we're going to peel and cut all the apples and pears. I'm making 2 apple pear pies today. I'm going to kind of show you how it's done. Now we are going to use just prepackaged pie crusts because it's faster and easier, and because I'm doing 2 pies. You can make your own crust if you want. It's simple. It's exactly the same thing though. So sometimes it's just easier to use the pre-done crusts, and I'm going to show you what I do to them to make them better. But for now, I'm going to get the peeling done, and then I'm going to show you the best way to cut all the apples, and so that they cook all the way through while baking. Okay, so I will see you in a second. This is how many apples and pears you need for 2 apple and pear pies, because you want about 6 to 7 cups for 1 pie per pie. And then you're going to need 2 crusts for each pie. Usually Granny Smith apples are the best to use for just a regular apple pie, but because I'm doing pears as well with this one, I've chosen Honeycrisp apples, which also bake really nicely, and they are super fat, so you get a lot of apple for your buck, and they taste delicious. They have almost that cidery taste to them when they cook up. Of course, this is difficult to do because I'm only going to have kind of one hand at this, but when you get it cut into 4ths after you peel, you want to cut out the center part and then so you cut out the center part here, make thin slices all the way down, and I'll show you exactly what they should look like so that they're perfect size for the pie in just 1 second. This is a little important. I've already done the thin slices, as you can see. Now, I've noticed by trial and error that the best way to get the apples to cook all the way through in a pie is if you just take your knife and cut the slices all in half this way, so that they're about that size each. They cook together better, they cook down better, and they won't have that kind of crunch. Now, if you prefer the crunchiness of the apples, you can always leave them in the longer pieces, but they will struggle with cooking like completely all the way through. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to preheat the oven to 375. And that can preheat while we do this part here. This is what all the fruit should look like. We have the 2 bowls. I have everything out. Now, the only thing I really measure is the sugar so that I don't get too much. So you're going to go anywhere between 3/4 of a cup to a full cup of sugar. And again, that is according to taste. Sorry, I got a lump in my sugar. Doesn't matter, it'll come out when I stir it up, but sorry, it's hard to keep the camera straight and do this. Okay, and then now I don't measure my cinnamon and nutmeg, but you're looking at about 1/4 of a teaspoon of each. But I go to taste. I've done this so many times, I can just kind of do it by sight. I know what tastes good. This is nutmeg right here. Same thing, about 1/4 teaspoon. Okay. And then we want, this one is very, very important, this ingredient. Okay. Minute tapioca, it works as a thickener, and you get a way better kind of a jelly taste instead of a chalky taste, which is like why a lot of people don't like pie. Now we're going to put about 3 tablespoons because I have 6.5 or so cups of fruit. If you're going only like 5 or 6 cups on the low end of fruit, go 2 tablespoons with apples. Any other fruit is 1/4 cup because of the juices. Okay, so I'm going to put about 3 tablespoons of that in here, and also lemon juice to taste. Now, what lemon juice does is it makes the whole pie, it lifts the whole flavor. It's very important if you don't want your pie to be too sweet. And then this is something I just started doing all on my own, and I really love it. This is honey whiskey, but you can also use like spiced rum or any little bit of alcohol that has kind of a sweetness to it. And again, that's to taste. It's not necessary if you don't want to, but the alcohol does cook off when cooking. Get the whole mixture in. What you want to do, it's really hard to do with one hand, with you actually being able to see, you want to stir it up really well, and then you're going to let this sit after it's all stirred in. Let it sit for about 15 to 20 minutes. You want a chance for that tapioca to soften and kind of stick to everything. Okay, these are the supplies for the next stage. You got a rolling pin. I have one of the pie crusts unrolled already. The other 3 are ready to go. Butter, that is an egg white, a brush, you're gonna need a little spoon and a knife for cutting vents in the crust, and then your pie pans, okay? So the first thing you wanna do is you wanna paint this crust with egg white, just the one side, the side that's going to be on the inside of the pie. And what this does is it keeps it from getting soggy and mushy inside, and it cooks it better on the inside. You're going to do it on the inside of the other one as well. So I'm going to do that really fast, and then we're going to sprinkle the entire thing with cinnamon and sugar, and I'll show you an example here in just 1 second. Sorry, I get going fast, and I completely forgot to say, roll the crust out a little bit, just enough to thin out the edges a little bit. You don't want to over roll it because you can make it tough and not flaky. And then you pan the entire inside and make sure you get all the way to the edges with the cinnamon and sugar. This also makes for a delicious crust that everybody eats. They never leave the end piece on there. So just keep that in mind. Best tip ever. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this outer crust, we're going to put it in the bottom of the pie tin. We're going to smooth it out gently with our fingers without making any holes. And then we're going to do the same thing that we did here with the top crust and leave it on the counter for a minute. So this is the second crust all rolled out. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your bowl of filling, you're going to give it a good stir, and then you're going to put that in the bottom crust just like that. Now before you place that top crust on there, what you want to do is you want to take your butter. You want about a tablespoon of butter. Again, I eyeball it because that's just what I do. You're going to take little bits. You're going to dot over the fruit evenly. And what this does is it helps cook the inside of your crust all the way through. Sorry, it's hard to do it with one hand without. Okay, so we're going to go all the way around, and then I'm going to go a couple in the center, and then I'm going to put the top crust on, and I will show you as far as venting goes. Lay that top crust on, again, sugar side in. You're going to take these edges and you're going to roll them under a couple times till you feel the edge of the pie pan and stick them together. You want to do that all the way around the entire circle, so you end up with this. And then all you're going to do is just, I like to do it to kind of represent where the pieces of pie are. Make sure, absolutely certain, that you do vent it at least 4 times. But I like to do 4 little ones also. I think mostly because I'm an obsessive compulsive nightmare and I like the aesthetic value of it, but that's just me. But if you don't, it will expand and explode in the oven as everything cooks, okay? And the last thing we're going to do is we're just going to take some small pieces of tin foil, aluminum foil, and we're going to wrap the edges for the first 25 minutes. So it's going to look just like that, okay? Now when you put it in the oven, you want to set the timer for 25 minutes and then pull those off the edges. If you do not, you will have raw pie crust, but if you don't cover them, either first half or second half of bake, you're going to end up with burnt edges. So this is the best way to do it because it's not as hot trying to put it on a burning hot pie plate. I've just figured this out over trial and error. And when you cover it 25 minutes and then pull them off, then you're going to get a perfect crust every time, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put these in the oven just like this, and I'm going to set the oven timer for 25 minutes. After the first 25 minutes and we pull them off, we are going to set the timer for another 20 minutes. Generally, a pie bakes 45 to 50 minutes, but I'm going to show you what it has to look like for you to know that it's done when we get there. So I just realized something. I was putting it in for the first 25 minutes, and I just realized something. I committed a little bit of a faux pas, and I gave you the temperature for a cobbler, not a pie. So the actual oven temperature should be at 400 degrees, but I will put a disclaimer at the beginning of this video so that you don't mess anything up if you're trying to bake along with me. So while you're waiting for the first 25 minutes to go, you can either leave the mess for other people to clean up if you want, or you can clean it up yourself, whatever makes you feel good. I'm going to wipe the counter and leave the rest, I think. And I will show you what happens along the way. Okay, so it has been exactly 45 minutes. Oh, I got a misty phone. this is actually exactly what you want to see, where there's no translucency inside, and you see this oozing juice cooking, like bubbling out of it. That's exactly what you want to see for a perfect pie. And that is not translucent, it's just the way the light is right now, but actually they're beautiful. Okay, so hopefully that was helpful for you guys, and it was interesting and engaging and something to watch. And hopefully, again, if any of you feel like actually trying it, I would love to hear your comments on how it turned out. Also, I have other stuff that I'm good at, so I'm just kind of gonna tick them off as I go, I guess. I can definitely give you tips on how to live as a poor person, which is probably what I'll do next. Again, just because I have like kind of a lot of useful tips for that. Especially with the way the world is working right now, even rich people are kind of poor right now. So helping with a little bit of these struggles probably is a little bit helpful anyways. I was going to say something else, and now I can't remember. Oh, I apologize about how awful I looked in the video. I was dressed for the day, but I was still in relax mode, so I was looking a little bit rough and feeling like I was looking a little bit rough, so I do apologize about that. But please, you guys, let me know if there's anything else that you would like to hear before helpful tips one, or if there's which one you want me to do next. And I hope you guys enjoyed everything. Please let me know in the comments what you thought. All right, love you all, and I will see you next week.